How much do you remember from last book or from last video, from last article, which you actually read 2 hours ago? During day, we forget about 17% of information which was read and listened by us. This conclusion was made by neuropsychologist Mark Tigler. In one of his work, he shares simple methods by mastering which you will able to quickly assimilate information without problems and also memorize and save information in memory. We always think that we can automatically memorize any information without any special efforts. We think that we just need to give information to our brain. Perhaps we need to repeat this method several times during any period. In other words, brain doesn't have to think, it needs just get information. When we passively get information, definitely something occurs in our brain, something, but no more this. Due that we several times try convey same information to the brain, over and over reading the same page from book, but in first such method takes quite a lot of time, and in second it doesn't effective. You need to memorize one simple rule to speed up and improve transmission of information to the brain. The more active brain will be involved in process of learning information, the quicker and more efficient it will do it. Let's make a simple analogy. After that, describe specific techniques. You want to learn playing football, but instead of playing it on real football field, you just passively watch football match on TV. How do you think? How much this method will be efficient? The same happens with information. If you passively accept all incoming information, unlikely you will efficiently engage your brain. Use that information isn't assimilated to the extent that you want. The more active brain will be involved in the process of learning, the more efficient will be self-study. And now we will look at concrete techniques. First method, which will help you engage your brain the most actively, and that is to simply explain received information to another person in your own words. When you start to retell information in your own words, you deviate from the original text and link all new received information with existing knowledge and experience. And this seemingly simple method allows you to actively engage the brain. Due that, received information will be assimilated more efficiently. Next method, based on asking specific questions right after receiving new information. Here you need to try and make connection between your already existing knowledge and new received information. Given method doesn't require much efforts, but it requires more consciously attention. The following method involves the elimination of passive repetition of learning information. You must probably have faced with such problem when after reading any article, you constantly keep coming back to it and reread it several times, hoping that with such method, information will be assimilated better, but it's not. Passive repetition of received information doesn't affect your memory anyway. I repeat, exactly passive repetition. Research shows that passive reading the same information doesn't affect on memorization it. The fact is that passive and active learning of information differ significantly, and the more active you will involve your brain during repetition of information, the better you will memorize it. But if you just reread the same information several times without any active actions in your brain, can appear thought what you already know it. In such situation, in the brain will not occur any significant changes. Due to that, information will not be consolidated in memory. there is one factor which psychologists call context memory. While learning some information, you need to replay the situation in which you remember this information. The more similarities will be, the better. For example, if you prepare for exam or from presentation on work and at the same time you just passively reread information, then here similarities not big. Your process of studying differs from that situation when you need answer on exam questions and on questions about your presentation. What do you need to do in this situation? After reading some kind of information, try to play it from your memory as if you do it on the exam or during presentation. Try to write out main ideas on separate sheet without looking at the original source and trying to play all information from your memory. In that moment, when you turn to your memory, you memorize information better. Another advantage of writing main key ideas on separate sheet is what after that you're able to compare all written information with original text. With such method, you will able to see what you could memorize and what perhaps not fixed in your memory. For example, if you wrote out 5 main ideas but in text were 6, then you understand that 6th idea is not stored in your memory and you need to spend on it a bit more time. In this way, while active revision of information, you spend much less time than while passive repetition. Such method allows received information leave a deeper imprint in your memory. It means that it will be memorized much better and for a longer period of time. Summing up, we can say that passive viewing, learning, and repeating of information doesn't bring you proper result. It will only take you longer. You cannot use the brain to its full potential if you work on autopilot. In order for the process of memorizing and assimilation of information to be much more effective, it's necessary to involve your brain as actively as possible in the learning process. The more actively your brain is involved, the faster information will be absorbed and the longer it will remain in your memory.